Recently, a man died due to an alleged road rage incident in Paris. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rider Ramblings. Today we're going to discuss road rage. We'll discuss the information that's been made public about the incident in Paris where the young man died. We'll discuss road rage in general. We'll discuss the reporting of the incident as well. So that's today's ramblings. So let's get started. There's some context that we need to do before we actually get fully into the story. The laws in France and the way the justice work is not the same as in the UK, or they have a system of an investigating magistrate, and what they try to do is find the truth, not which lawyer is best. They're actually trying to find the truth of what happens, or what happened. So that's the context. The other thing is the fact that Paris is an old city, and although it was remodeled by Baron Haussmann after the French Revolution, that was 200 years ago or so, so consequently the road system is pretty old. There are narrow streets in some parts, cobbled streets, this type of thing. And they've then tried to put a sort of cycle route on top of it, which has caused in places some enormous problems with, let's just put it, drivers of vehicles not being happy. I think that's the best way to put it. It's caused a number of problems. Right. Okay, let's get to the incident. Now, what has been reported is that a 4x4 SUV ran over a cyclist's foot while the cyclist was in a cycle lane. Now, this is one of these painted cycle lanes. It's not segregated from the main road. It's just a dotted line or whatever down the side of the road. He ran over the cyclist's foot and stopped. He actually stopped, so according to the reports, actually on the cyclist's foot, and then reversed off the cyclist's foot. The cyclist was none too happy about this, and he started thumping the bonnet of the 4x4, at which point the cyclist was run over. Now, this is where we have very little information. We don't know if it was a deliberate act or whether it was totally unintentional or whatever. Okay? And unfortunately, the cyclist was run over by both wheels on the right-hand side of the vehicle, and he subsequently died of his injuries on the way to hospital. The other thing that was reported was that the cyclist was a member of 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗃, which is a, how can I put it, militant cyclist group in Paris. And consequently, this is probably why he attacked the 4x4. But again, that's conjecture, complete conjecture. So that's what was reported to have happened. The driver of the 4x4 was arrested, and I believe he's still in detention. I don't think the case has come to court yet, but I don't know. It hasn't been reported as such. So, immediately after that the information I've just given you was more or less released immediately after the incident. Since then, the reporting has changed slightly. And they say that the driver of the 4x4 actually drove down the cycle lane for some distance and was wanting to turn right when he ran over the cyclist's foot. So that was added. And then a little bit later, they stopped reporting that the cyclist attacked the 4x4, or most of the media stopped reporting that the cyclist attacked the 4x4, and put the whole blame on the driver of the 4x4. And they started really sort of discussing how dangerous it is to cycle in Paris and that cars shouldn't be allowed. So the agenda basically changed, and they started using this very sad incident to further a political agenda, by the sounds of things. Very sad indeed that they should do this, but that's what seems to have happened. So those are the facts that we have. That's what's been reported by the media, both the printed media and the news media, the television and radio. As I say, the cyclist was under 30 years old, and he died, unfortunately. You'll have to excuse me, blooming Google has come on. I'll have to pull over and stop this bloody Google. I don't know how it works. Right, so the cyclist unfortunately died on the way to hospital, and there was quite a lot of demonstrations in Paris about it as well. And in fact, one of the things that has happened, which started today, they've restricted vehicle access to a large part of the centre of Paris, actually. 4 arrondissements, which are sort of 4 districts of Paris, have had vehicular access restricted to public vehicles, public transport, taxis, and those people who live there only. And this is probably, though we're not 100% sure about this, due to this incident. Right, as I mentioned before, the cycle track system, the cycle lane system in Paris is, how can I put this, not good. In places, they've closed complete streets, which is a good idea, and they've made them pedestrianised and cycle only. But in other places, you've got these narrow streets, which have been made even narrower by bus lanes. They've put then cycle lanes in parts of them, and it is really quite a mess, to tell you the truth. It's pretty dangerous. I've been driving and riding in Paris for 15 years, and I can honestly say that parts of Paris, in the last 2 or 3 years, are just a complete mess, and I try not to go into Paris now in a car or on a motorcycle, which is what the mayor of Paris wants. So she's managed to persuade me not to go in and to use public transport. But the other thing that's happened is that, of course, I used to buy quite a bit of stuff in Paris, but I don't anymore. So they've lost my business, which is sad on that. Okay, so road rage. Have you suffered from road rage? Have you had a problem? Whatever. I used to see it quite a lot, and I do mean quite a lot. For some reason or other, scooter riders in France, and especially in Paris, seem to suffer from road rage a lot, and you used to see them breaking people's door mirrors and so on a regular basis as you were commuting through. The interesting thing was that it was very rare to see a motorcyclist do it. You'd see a motorcyclist sort of tap the top of the mirror just to make the person aware that they should be using their mirror, but they didn't used to break them off as the scooter riders used to. Have I suffered from road rage? I suppose I have. I can't actually think of an actual event, but I would imagine that there's been times when I've been unhappy with somebody on the road, which is not a very clever idea when you're on a motorcycle at all. So, yes. So, that's what's happened. As I say, the reporting has changed, as I mentioned, to be a little bit more sort of what seems to be politically motivated, unfortunately. And it's sad that they've used a young man's death for this. Now, there are other pieces of information that have been released by the press, but I'm not going to talk about them because I don't think they're relevant to what we're discussing. Okay, so road rage in general. What have you seen? Have you seen road rage incidents? I can remember one time in the UK. Ooh, they're hunting. Let's hope I don't get shot. Talking about that, a young boy was shot in the head while he was in his father's car, driving along the road with a hunt. They don't know who shot him, but the bullet obviously missed the target and shot this boy in the head. I don't think the boy died. He was not reported to have died, but he was reported to be not very well at all in hospital. Sorry, yes, so let's get back to this road rage. I can remember travelling down a motorway. I can't remember which one. I think probably the M6, knowing me. It might have been the M1. And there were two cars parked on the hard shoulder, and they were having a fist fight. I was in a car at the time, and it was quite a few years ago. I'm talking maybe 30 years ago, and it could be even more than that. It could be 40 years ago. So I have witnessed road rage. As I say, I've seen scooter riders in Paris break mirrors. I've probably been upset with various people, but I haven't attacked anybody. I haven't attacked a car or anything like that. I've just been a little bit upset and driven off a bit quickly. So what about you? Tell me about any road rage incidents that you're aware of. And in the comments below, please like, comment, share and subscribe. And I'll speak to you next time.